And welcome to the latest episode of Greifenhorst, which is my medieval fantasy let's build video using heavily modded Minecraft. And in the previous episode, we built this area, right? The idea is we wanted to expand our ability to store stuff, and no matter how you slice it, you need space. So I carved out a bunch of space, and what I really like to do is to do some more terraforming to make space for actually building the outer castle on the surface, but that's going to require a lot of removal of material and such, and I need someplace to put it. So we're back down here to kind of finish this storage extension, because that should give me more than enough storage space to do all that. But yeah, it's been a couple weeks, and I forgot that I wasn't. I thought I'd finished the roof. I figured I'd just put in the storage bit, but I can see that I didn't finish the ceiling. So that's where we'll start today. Today we will finish the ceiling, and then we'll go ahead and put in the storage infrastructure, and then and test it. And then if everything's okay, we will go ahead and proceed from there. But it's now day 4 in early spring. If you remember, we had the seasons reset with Serene Seasons making a change and blowing away the config file. So it's going to be a long spring, apparently. I think we were like, gosh, like 10 or 15 days into the spring, and now we're not. So let me see. Oh, I got a bunch of stuff I gotta put away. Oops. Yeah, the problem is recently I've been playing Enshrouded and now Icarus, and they use different key binds. Oh, that's, yeah. He doesn't go anywhere. He's bugged. Oh, he's going somewhere now. Well, he's gone now. But man, I hate those guys. Anyway, I've been playing those other games, and I get used to those key binds. Then I come back in, and I'm all topsy turvy. But you know, by hopefully soon I will get it sorted out, and I won't be fiddling around with the keyboard. Anyway, we've got, among other things, right, to prepare for the next few rounds too, we'll need to expand our charcoal supply. And there's a bunch of work I'd like to do on the surface here. Ooh, it's night. Make sure no bad guys around. Yeah, there's just so much to do across the board. We are now 24. I think it's 24. I think this is the 24th episode. So as of me saying this, we're about 23 hours into this world, but we'll be 24 at the end of this. But I am excited about how it's shaping up. I'm particularly thrilled with how storage is working. It's just that it's not enough. We always need more. But yeah, we'll get to it. That's what we'll be doing today. There's a wealth of stuff to do. The thing is you know, this. So recently, I was having a discussion with some of my friends, and about, you know, what makes a game compelling, what brings you back. And we were talking specifically about Minecraft, right? Like, here we are, we're like, what, 15, 16 years that Minecraft's existed, and I've been around for like 13 of those, and here I am, I'm still playing, right? Oh, man. So the I'm gonna put these in the there. I'm going to put these in the blast furnace, and I will use these oak planks as soon as those birch ones are gone. But the thing is, first of all, I guess what brings people back game after game is going to vary from individual to individual, right? We all want different things out of our games, but I think there are general trends that work and general trends that don't. And if you've been reading or paying attention to the gaming news lately, the AAA publishers and titles are having a really tough time of things. And I think the reason behind that is kind of like, as a group, players have the bar's going up, right? The players expect more. During COVID, you know, that was like the great Oklahoma land rush, right? I mean, these venture capital firms were running in to just throw money at anybody who said, I have an idea for a game. Oh, here's a few million, make it happen. And there was a boom in games. Lots of games came out. And I don't know about you, but, you know, there was a while there that the number of games I was interested in could be counted on one hand, right? The new games coming in. And I think they got sloppy. I think they took the gamers for granted, right? We'll just throw crap over the wall, and these guys will eat it up, and they'll pay money for it, and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, paying money, right? They've gotten kind of crazy with their whole monetization schemes to the point where it's like, we're only like a couple notches away from like, just send us checks with or your credit card number, and we don't have to really offer you any value. Just send us money. We'll call it good. I mean, it's not quite that far, but it certainly seems that it's been trending that way, right? We don't have to give you anything for your money. And in a, you know, purely capitalistic free market society, that doesn't fly, right? Eventually, people will talk with their dollars, or, you know, euros or pesos, shekels, whatever. You know, you got to go to where the customer is, and I think they've forgotten that, right? I think customers are definitely expecting more for their dollar. I always have, and I kind of hope everyone else is as well. And as a result, you know, these guys have their spreadsheets and their, you know, metrics and all, but they're not bringing in the bucks the way they thought they would be. And I'm okay with that, because what it means is they need to go back to the drawing board. And I think ultimately what they're going to find is something that the indies have known independent developers have known all along, which is it's all about the value, right? I mean, the stuff that made Stardew Valley a surprise hit and still going strong all these years later is the same type of stuff that would make any game thrive, right? I mean, we've seen, you know, once upon a time, the graphics for any game had to be as photorealistic as they could get it, right? And at the time, the hardware wasn't really up to it. But, you know, graphics was a big thing. And then, you know, Stardew kind of showed us you don't need fabulous photorealistic graphics if you've got a game that's fun to play. In fact, people kind of like the retro look. And sure enough, now if you look out on Steam, you know, we've kind of broken that mold. Not everything is made to look hyper realistic. But I say that, and if you look, most of the games that are trying to look hyper realistic, not all, but most, are the big AAA guys, right? It's kind of like they haven't quite figured out that's not the overwhelming metric anymore. That's not the thing that brings people in. I mean, I guess if you're playing something like Call of Duty or Battlefield, yeah, I think realism is the key. And you kind of saw that where there was basically a popular uprising by the user base because, you know, if you're playing Call of Duty or Battlefield or some type of game like that, you're doing it because you kind of want to simulate real combat in a real place under real conditions. And when you got people running around like looking like mutant Ninja Turtles and Beavis and Butthead, it kind of spoils your whole sense of immersion, right? It's like, that's not what I paid for. You know, it's kind of like going to the movie theater and paying to see a movie, and then you've got other people coming in, and they're like, they're watching something else on their phone at the same time as a movie, and they're making noise and they're talking. They're ruining your experience, and the theater's not doing anything to stop them, right? And you're like, this isn't what I paid for. That's kind of like where some of these games have kind of gone, right? And of course, this is just kind of the problem about the general gaming community, right? It's not that it's a bad thing. It's not that it's filled with bad people. It's just that, first, at a very simple scale, there are people there for different reasons. For some people, they do want Beavis and Butthead, and they do want Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they do want a game with, a weapon that's tricked out like the third grade lunchbox. And by all means, go for it. But you see, the problem is like these big servers are expensive to run, and so you can't really segregate these servers like, okay, well, this is for the people who run around in your cartoon underoos, and this is for like the serious realistic players. That never works. Way back in the day with WoW. And in fact, most of the servers, most of the games at the time, they would, they had shards or servers or worlds or whatever we're going to call them. And basically they would have them for different physical locations in the world, right? So you want to play a server that's close to you for maximum performance. But invariably they would have one that was, say, just for role players, just RP. The idea being that the role players, there's the people who are really immersing themselves in the world, right? They want to play like they're really in that world. And so and I enjoyed those worlds immensely, right? That, like, not everybody runs all the time, not everybody's min-maxing. People, somebody might come online and play for an hour and they don't kill a single thing. They just hang out in a pub or a tavern, and they do what you do in a pub or tavern, right? They drink, they socialize, that type of thing. That was fun. But, then you start getting people who would come onto that server. And a lot of times the RP servers had much smaller populations. So you have a favorite thing would be min-maxers would come in. And this is a way that they could hit like the hard to reach areas that would normally have like a queue of parties waiting to go and take on a boss. Well, there's nobody there. So they come into an RP server, and of course they're not into RP. So now you have a bunch of non-RP people on an RP server, and then they basically take it over. And then it gets even worse, because it's not just like they're peaceful cohabitating with the RPers. Now they're actively persecuting the RPers for role-playing, which is why they're there in the first place. This is kind of what I'm getting at, right? There is no right or wrong way to play those games. But there is a problem when you have people with very different needs or desires to play a game a certain way, and they're sharing the pool with everyone else. That's a perfect example right there, a swimming pool, right? You go to the community pool, you got one set of kids, they want to do cannonballs. You've got another set of kids playing Marco Polo. You have, some older folks trying to swim laps. You have another guy training for a competition. They're all in the same water. They're all trying to achieve their ends, but some of those ends are mutually exclusive. right? You can't, if you do one, you're going to mess up for somebody else. Community pool, though, it is what it is. That's kind of like what gaming servers are and stuff. And you know, I have to admit that this is something that has impacted me, because it kind of drove me away from multiplayer gaming for a long time. Right? You had multiple player gaming in its earliest. You didn't have the ability to run dedicated servers, and in the very early days they didn't really have servers set up by the companies, right? You would have somebody would host the server from their machine and everyone else would play. And in a lot of ways, a lot of people have kind of like rediscovered that model, or they have dedicated servers, but they lock it out, lock it down, lock it out, so just them and, you know, a few friends can hit it. That's how I play now, and that brought me back to multiple player, because you know, at one point it was kind of cool to be playing where you had like 2 teams of 32 running around in tanks and stuff, blowing each other up. That was fun. I almost said, but then I grew up. But you know, that still appeals to me. So it's not a matter of growing up. It's just a matter of, you know, at some point though, you want more, right? To fully enjoy it, you want to kind of have the type of people who play the way you play and enjoy it the way you enjoy it, right? So that, you know, the private server is the way to go, which is why private, you know, dedicated server hosting is a huge business now. I mean, there's a bazillion companies out there, and of course, when this is only made possible or made more possible by virtualization of hardware. So, you know, instead of before where they would host a dedicated server, if they had 10 customers, they would have 10 PCs set up in a server lab now somewhere. But now they have, you know, like one big Megamondo server, and it can simulate like 64, 128, or 256 PCs. And from the user perspective, they can't tell difference, right? So it's way cheaper, more effective, more scalable, blah, blah, blah. So it's a great time for dedicated servers. I even know people who they just like, they have a subscription and they have 3 or 4 dedicated servers, and they just swap out games depending on what the interest is, right? Which must be nice. I don't have those types of resources, but I can certainly, I truly see the appeal and the intention behind that, and I totally agree. It's awesome. So anyway, so I don't know how I got started down. Well, it's kind of like the Minecraft thing, right? I guess that's where I started, vaguely remember. You know, because, well, there's an interesting point to that, right? I mean, I'm playing, I have 3 series set in modded Minecraft, and they're all based on 1.20.1. And I think if you go out, I'm guessing here, but it's an educated guess. I'm guessing that if you were to go out and say how many mods are available for each of the different flavors of modern Minecraft, I would guess that 1.20.1 would probably have the greatest diversity, the most different mods available for it. There might be some others that would close, but and I'm pretty sure it's higher than all the 1.21 builds flavors. And this kind of gets on to a common complaint of mine, which is I love Mojang because they made this. I love Mojang because they love Minecraft, and so I love them for it. But I still don't think they get it, right? Because when you look at, like, we got copper golems and other stuff, and but see what they're doing now is they're releasing content for vanilla Minecraft, and that seems to be their whole focus. But in a way, their competition is the modding community, and when it comes to scope and quality, they are vastly outnumbered and outgunned, right? The modding community is producing content that is often as good or better, and a whole lot more of it, and it's optional, right? You buy into the changes you want, you don't buy. And the team at Mojang is still acting kind of like they're the official build, which I guess technically they are, but I mean, what I'm saying is like, under the old model, we would have, a 1.20.1, a 1.21, then a 1.22, then a 1.23, and each of those were big, right? They're like a year or 2 years apart, and then the whole modding community would then jump onto that new build, and we'd move on. But now they've said, well, we're going to do these smaller releases, and that, I love the idea behind it, but they're all content releases. So from a modding perspective, there's no compelling reason for a mod. There's no new mechanics, or rarely new mechanics. Certainly not enough new mechanics for a modder to say, oh, this changes the game and makes my job easier. And where that's important is, go back to what I was saying, all these people are still running like 1.20.1. Okay, obviously it's an older build of vanilla Minecraft. It has less stuff in it. Why is everybody still on it? And this is something I talked about in a video a long time ago, which is the thing about mods, the thing about modded Minecraft, is there's kind of like a tipping point. There's like a level where you reach a certain momentum that it carries on. And modders, even if that's not the latest edition, a lot of modders are still focused on producing content for that edition, because that's where the players are, right? Or their mods use other mods as a foundation, and that's where those other mods are. And this is what I'm getting at, right? Is I guess it would be interesting to go out and actually count the mods available, right? I bet you. So maybe I should do that like in a live stream. I keep talking about live streams. I don't have the time to fully iron it out and get it going. But I would love to do that on camera and just say, look, here's the numbers, right? Because I guess it really boils down to this, is everybody wants something different, but I think in some fundamental ways, the people making the decisions, the people with the access to the budget and the hiring, they're the ones who make the big decisions about where the company goes. And I think in a lot of ways, those are the people who don't really know. they don't quite understand their user base. They're making plans for the direction of the company based on what they think customers want, but they're clearly separated from actual customers. So they're taking it down a different road. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I don't know how I got trapped in that, but oh boy. I mean, when I do this type of work, I very much go into like you can almost do it with your eyes closed. Of course, sometimes the result looks like I had my eyes closed. But so I'm a little more free in my thinking. But anyway, that's where it goes. It's good. Now, I think there's a natural upside to this, which is if the AAAs are losing ground and having a hard time with things because all their assumptions and formulas that were working have now led to diminishing returns right? Saturation, too much of the same thing, monetization getting in the way, blah, blah, blah. You know, the idea is with capitalism that those people will either need to change to reflect the demands of the market and regain customers, or survival of the corporate fittest, right? They die off, and some other company that has the wherewithal to actually do it comes in. So that's kind of like where I was headed with this. Is I think, you know, indies have to have a much better idea of where their user base are, because they won't last 15 minutes without that, right? A lot of their stuff is going to be kind of rough. It's going to show potential, but it's not there yet. And the only way it's even going to make it to or through early access is if it's ringing with people. If people are like, oh, you're on the right track, go on. And that's only going to happen if they actually are on the right track. So in a lot of ways, they have to be tied closer to what their customers want to work at all. Somebody like Electronic Arts, they're big enough, they have deep pockets, they can ride the storm out, and they've often, you know, they have really great IPs that they turn around and say, well, if you want access to The Sims or whatever, you're just gonna have to do it our way. You're gonna have to play it our way. Okay. And in a world where there are no alternatives to Sims, they kind of gotcha, right? But like as we saw with City Skylines, right? SimCity was the undisputed king of city builders, but they got complacent. I mean, they put out some really bad versions of SimCity, and very much the attitude was like, whoa, where are you gonna go? You want a new SimCity? You want a new city builder? This is it. You don't have anywhere else to go. Which then, you know, the guys who make City Skylines, that's what they did. They actually made the SimCity that Electronic Arts should have made, and boom, SimCity dies out, and now City Skylines is the new de facto city builder against which everyone else is measured, right? And you can see the process repeated. So then they grew big. They were successful. Look at that. Look at the ceiling. It's nice. Now we got to do this stuff. I need to dig this out to get a better idea of how I wired this. It's been a little while. Yeah, trim runs in the stone brick layer. And then I bring the controllers to the surface. So I need to dig this out. Anyhow, so the guys who make City Skylines, they got complacent, right? So they made City Skylines 2, and they figured people would just eat it up. I mean, I really wanted to, but I didn't. I did not buy it. Thank gosh I didn't, right? It's problematic. It's not a quality release. It's still missing a lot of stuff. And so here we are. The world's greatest current city builder is still City Skylines 1, not 2. So this is where I will run another line. Anyway, so it's kind of like it's gone full circle. The scrappy upstarts who are raising the quality bar and bringing the game to the true fans then become complacent. Dare I say greedy? And then now they act and are thus treated like the greedy AAAs that were before them. Anyway. Sorry. It just got me thinking. I'm in a kind of a, oh, I don't want to say negative mood, but I guess I am in kind of a negative mood, right? I'm still job hunting, and it's proven to be pretty tough. I mean, once upon a time, you know, the job market was very different. For somebody with my skills, I could be laid off or quit on a Friday and have a new job lined up by the following Friday, right? And we're off to the races. And that's just not the way it is anymore. And like, it's interesting too, because like my last position I lost because AI, right? The whole team was drastically downsized. And that's the thing, right? Is like AI is not replacing project managers, which is kind of surprising to me, because I would think that's something AI could do. But what was killing all the project manager positions is the fact that AI is killing the developer space, right? So you're able to replace a bunch of developers with AI, and with fewer developers, and amping the numbers up so that a single program manager is working with a larger group of developers. So instead of for every 5 developers, there's 1 program manager, there's now 1 program manager for every 10 developers, and there's a lot less developers. Well, that means you need a whole lot fewer program managers, project managers, product managers, and that's the problem. And now there's a bunch of us running around with lots of experience, lots of good experience, and fighting for way fewer jobs. So I'm on unemployment, and I'm guessing I'm maybe like close to halfway through the run. And when the money runs out there, I will pretty much have to do whatever I have to do. And so we've been talking about what our backup options are, but back to my point, that's maybe kind of what I'm kind of in a negative mood about, because I understand it, right? The going back to the whole capitalism, right? Is the idea of, if there's too many people doing a particular type of job, or there's an industry that's being replaced by another industry, in pure capitalism, you let it fail, and people will naturally shift money and employees to the new needs. Come around the corner and catch this, and this, and that, and this, and this. Ta-da! And did I just get a head? Yes, I got a zombie. I got a zombie head by shooting them. Oh, this might be a. So I've discovered that, like, when using Ars Nouveau spells after using my pickaxe with excavate on it, my Big Beast Paxil spell will act like it's got excavate on it for a little bit. And it might be that since I'm holding a diamond sword with Vorpal on it, casting magic missiles acting like it has Vorpal on it. So it took his head off. I'm not complaining. It is very interesting, though. Pretty strange. But, so for the new area of storage, I basically set up 3 new vaults. Each vault would need 2 secondary controllers. So I need to make 6 of these secondary controllers. And that's what I'm doing now. But I've come to realize I'm going to need a whole lot more spruce. So I might have to grab some bone meal and do some accelerated tree growth. Oh boy. You know, the cloudy weather outside in the game and the sound of the rain kind of reminds me what's going on in real life, right? Because it's fall. We've now had a lot more rainy days than we did during the summer. I went and got the bone meal, but it turns out I don't need the bone meal. The tree grew already. Okay. I will happily accept that. Anyway, I like it. I like it. I'm a fan of all the seasons, so I like the change because fall is my favorite season. Absolutely love fall, but I don't want a whole year of fall because then fall gets old. But now that fall's here, and we had a summer, spring, winter, I'm digging fall. Very much so. You know, another creator, if you want to go look him up, his name's Kality, Kality. He does some Let's Plays, and he does a lot of like creative building, and I love his work. I mean, he specializes in on these creative builds, but the mods and resource packs he uses really give still Minecrafty but realistic textures. So in a lot of ways, you know, because I've seen a lot of people play creative, and I don't normally enjoy those types of videos, but the stuff he works with has such a distinct look, and it's a look that I really enjoy, and the level of detail he adds is great. It's amazing. I don't really feel like I'm watching somebody play creative mode Minecraft. It's more like I'm watching a model builder, right? Like he's building doll houses or something, and I love it. So, you know, do yourself a favor if you can. Go look him up and go check out his channel. Some other creators that I enjoy is Jitterybug. I really like her Let's Play stuff. Now nowadays she does mostly streams, so it's pretty rare for just a regular episode. But yeah, I really enjoy her stuff. She just has a vibe and a flair that it's fun to watch. Even if you don't watch, just listening to it in the background, it's mellow, it's cozy. And when she was doing only Let's Plays, I loved going through her series over and over because, you know, she starts, here's my new world, and then, you know, like 20 episodes later, she's working on something, but like she's walking through this town, and this is kind of like where I want to go, right? Is now you have this whole town that you're going through, and it looks like it's a thriving building spot, and I was there every step of the way, and so I remember it. But then she still does a lot of the same stuff. It's just like she'll do an episode that's not live streamed, and then she'll do 3 hours live stream, and when she gets to another episode that isn't, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. I need to make planks, not logs. But now, when she jumps back in with a non-live streamed episode, all the live stream work is already in that same world, right? So I feel like I'm kind of cheated out of that journey, right? It's like she made half the journey, or 2/3 or 3/4 of the journey without me, and all I'm seeing is the end result, which kind of goes me back to the whole creative mode thing, right? I think it's not just important where I start and where I end up; it's all the points in between. So, but she has great content, so look her up. Jitterybug is a box. It's all one word. Is a box. I really like her. She's got some great content, though. She did do some Let's Play stuff, but I think most of the stuff she does now is like kind of scripted role play. Like she's using Minecraft to essentially illustrate a story, and it's entertaining. It's really good stuff. I like it. It's also kind of cozy and mellow, so that's another one that I appreciate. There's a few others. Some of them have gone, right? They're not making videos anymore, and that's too bad. I really like their stuff. And they didn't even like leave a video saying, well, I'm done, but it's been great or anything. It's just like they just disappeared off the face of the earth, which is too bad. But I mean, this is part of the YouTube paradigm, right? Just everyday people, and everyday people will approach us in different ways. And for some people, it's just kind of get up and walk away, or never return in the first place, right? Just something else distracted them, and they never look back. Anyway, yeah, you know, it is interesting because when I got employed, at one point I thought, you know what, well, maybe this is the chance where I could really focus on my channel, and maybe I could build the channel up to the point where it's bringing in some real money. And long story short, I don't think it ever will, not with the content I'm producing now. But I think I figured out what content I could and should do if that was my goal. And while I certainly would appreciate if that happened, I wouldn't mind at all, I don't think that's my primary goal anymore. You know, I think my primary goal is to just continue making the types of videos I want to watch, the types of videos I want to make, and not worry so much about whether or not that's the best option. And to that point, I have a series of videos where I do these deep dives into individual mods, and they've gotten a lot of attention, and by far that is the greatest number of hits on my channel. And of course that did the heavy lifting. Now I did those, most of them, when I was kind of like in this in-between state, right, where Griffin Hall blew up and died, and Griffin Manor was doing very well, but I wanted to move to 1.21, and I couldn't to make the move, so much stuff would be screwed up, it would just be easier to start over. And that's what, in fact, what New Londinium is essentially starting over. But of course I scaled everything, all the plans up considerably. But my point in all that is, while I was there was a period of time where I was completely rethinking the model, right? What do I want to do? How do I want to do it? And while setting that up, and that is the model I'm currently running under, I'm very, very happy with that model. But it took a few months to work out the kinks on how it would work and how I would run it. And during that time, to keep the channel alive, I was doing these deep dive mod videos. And like I said, in comparison, they really took off. The problem I have now is I am seeing growth in my Let's Build videos, but I think the problem I'm having is the algorithm doesn't know what to do, because where people are watching my videos mostly are on these mod videos. So I think they're probably initially showing the same audience my Let's Play videos, and they're not interested in the Let's Play videos, right? Because they're watching the mod videos because they have a question about a specific mod. How does it work? Is it worthwhile? So my video tells them that. They tune in, they watch it once, they're done. And maybe they'll watch a few other of my mod videos, but that's it. Never see them again. And they're not interested in the storytelling, the growth, the rambling. You know, they have questions. The video will answer those questions for them. They got what they needed, and off they go. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that if that's the audience I've built up, and now I'm creating content that works in a completely different way, then the algorithm really is having a hard time putting my stuff in front of the right people. And with that understanding, I think, you know, I had kind of committed to like continue doing those mod videos. But I think continuing to make them is actually going to hurt me with the content that I am primarily here to make. So I kind of made up my mind to not make those anymore. Just focus on this stuff. And you know, if the channel is not going to make me money, if the channel is not going to be able to basically generate the income I need for day-to-day living, then I'm not really obligated to do what I need to do to maintain that. I'm now free to do what I want to do, why I created the channel in the first place. So there you go. I mean, that's kind of like the trap. If you have a successful channel, you have a channel and it's got like, you know, 100,000, a million people viewing, and you decide you want to do something different, I mean, you're free to do so, but what you risk is essentially killing everything that you built up. And of course, if you don't want to jeopardize it, then you have to keep playing it safe and keep generating the same content over and over, and maybe you don't want to do that anymore. So there it is. You're trapped. Just like a regular job. So let's take half of these out, roughly half. So I got 64 in my hand. There's 70 still in there. And it's at the very end of the network. Let's see if it's recognized by this. And yes, there's the 70. And if I put this in, it says there's 134. Let's go double check to make sure it's 134 all the way over here. And it is. So it works. Now we just kind of need to repair the damage and build a whole bunch of spruce drawers. You know, this is taking a bit longer than I thought it would, but I'm getting a little load off my chest. So thank you for patiently listening to me. Of course, I don't know if you actually are. I mean, if you're if this is bothering you, then you're probably already signed off. Probably playing Call of Duty someplace with your Beavis and Butthead skins. But anyway, yes, that's how it works. And you know, I don't know about you, but I mean, I've always been a game player, and I suspect a lot of you have been playing games since the early years. I don't think you're not likely to pop up on this channel if you just discovered Minecraft yesterday, right? But with that being said, I think a lot of people who play video games, they play video games because they're fun, right? There's all sorts of different reasons why we play, but I think a growing number of us can add a new reason, which is just to take a break from the news and what's going on in the world around us, right? I mean, you don't want to escape too far. You definitely need to take a break, right? Sometimes it's all too much, and I get that, and I do this too. But and you don't want to completely disconnect yourself. But I think some of us are here because we're just tired of all the negativity, and we're tired of the screaming and the shenanigans and the talking heads. And I say that, and here I am. Well, I'm not even a talking head. You don't even see my face. So, which, for the most part, is probably a good thing. But the important thing is people generally respond favorably to my comments. So I think, you know, the people are getting out of this what I would hope they would get, but I don't know exactly what that is. I mean, I know what values I value, and I try to put those in my video, but you know, I don't know what people will respond to. Some people are kind enough to leave me a comment and let me know what works and doesn't work. Hint, hint. Yeah, it's just good and interesting. I really am rambling today, aren't I? Oh gosh, I'm just scrambled. It's we really need a lot more wood because these drawers take a lot of wood, right? So at the core of each drawer, you've got, I'm gonna need a full-size chest. So that's 8 planks right there, and then 6 more planks. So 14 planks per drawer, and I need hundreds of drawers. I mean, like for today's grouping, I don't know, I guess 200 drawers, 300 drawers. Well, 300 times 14, that's a lot of planks. I don't know. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm looking at the clock. We're running out of time, and I just finally got to the drawer making part, so that's okay. I picked up the bone meal. We'll go at it. But it would be nice to actually have some place to put my stuff, right? Because I think I've mentioned this before. I think vanilla Minecraft has like 400 blocks and items that you could potentially put into storage, and I'm running modded Minecraft, and I think this mod pack is something, you know, it's a custom one I built myself, but I still think there's like 250, 260 different mods in it. Now, not all of them have stuff, but a lot of them do, and so we've blown way past 400 different items, right? So we need a very robust storage solution so that we can have all that stuff, put it away, and find it again in an organized fashion. I mean, that's kind of like the trick, right? Okay. Sounds like somebody's on fire. Sounds like they're no longer on fire. Is that the same guy? Oh boy, I need. So that's a test skin, right? So that's a zombie villager. I don't remember which profession that is, but I need to work a lot on the custom skins for the custom professions and stuff, and I need to work on new skins for the default professions too. In this world, not so much, because in this world the default professions kind of fit into this world, but in, like, say, New Londinium or From the Rubble, yeah, I definitely do, because the new professions, and even the old ones, they have it's a different setting, so it's a different context. So when we pick up the experience from the zombie I killed, it'll help heal this pickaxe a little bit. Kind of clear out the main inventory so that I got another head. Or was that the first head? I don't know. I thought I'd put it back before. Guess not. I will tell you this though. Good old Minecraft, when it comes to tree regeneration, right? Well, and Enshrouded too. Enshrouded resets even non-trees, like, you know, your mineral veins will be restored as well. I've been playing some Icarus lately, and you know, one thing it doesn't have is creepers. Whoa, 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 where are you going there, pal? Oh, he's climbing up my little tree staircase here. Oh, there's a new moo down there too. Okay, it's turning out to be a pretty crowded place. Excuse me. Goodbye. And done. Okay. Yeah, I think that guy just saved his own life. Anyway, in Icarus, the mineral nodes don't respawn unless they do some world generation change that then will run through the world generation over again, and it'll regenerate the mineral. But the one that boggles my mind the most is the fact that trees don't grow back, and trees are important, especially, oh boy, especially because if you have something that produces fire, so a campfire, fireplace, fire pit, forge, they all take wood, and if you burn wood in those things, it produces charcoal, and you're like, oh, hot, damn, okay, so I've got a bunch of charcoal. Yeah, except you can't use charcoal as a fuel to burn stuff. Use charcoal as a fuel or filter to clean your water and a few other things. That's it, right? So I have crazy amounts of charcoal, and I can't put it into, you know, like in Vintage Story, I'm using my charcoal to fuel my forge and my smelting operations. But anyhow, my point is, so if all that stuff starts with wood as my primary combustible, but trees don't grow back, then I'm in big trouble. Now, you can get trees to grow back. They added a mechanic. There's a end game technology that it'll grow trees. Of course, when it's working and growing trees, it's also attracting all the flora and, I mean, all the fauna in the region. So you've got to have to protect your tree generator while all these things are coming to tear down your tree generator. That's not quite what I wanted or had in mind. They have one that regenerates the ores too, but I think it was telling in that. I don't remember where I read it or heard it, but the devs basically explained it, and it makes total sense, right? When they made Icarus, the idea was that there wasn't an open game world. It was an open game world, but you weren't going into an open game world for the sake of being an open game world. You would go down into an open game world, but with the specific idea that you were on a mission, usually with a time limit, and that you needed to achieve a specific goal or result to satisfy the mission, and then you're back up again. And with that being said, they're generating the world every time you start the mission. So who cares if they regenerate trees? You're not going to be there long enough to worry about it. But then when they realized that they had, I think, a potentially award-winning model for open world, that they should let actually people run around in an open world, and they did, that had some unforeseen ramifications on the basic design, which is that we don't regenerate trees, but now you have people who are spending days, maybe months, in a game world cutting down trees. They want more trees, and they didn't have a mechanic for that. I mean, for most people, it just means that you go further and further from your house. And in a lot of ways, that's realistic, right? I mean, like most of Europe, including the United Kingdom and Ireland, they were once upon a time heavily forested with deep, thick, old growth vegetation, and now they're not, right? I mean, they have forests and stuff, but Europe today is very different than Europe, say, 1,000 years ago. And where do those forests go? Well, they were basically cut down to build stuff with, or to fuel charcoal generation, or to make way for farming. But and it's just, you know, because the same forests were full of like bears and boars and wolves, and now good luck finding a bear or boar or wolf in Europe. I don't think they have any. Very, very few, right? So anyhow, my point is just like with Icarus, people had to go further and further to get their wood. So I need to make a bunch of these drawers. So I need to make a bunch of these chests. And you can, I think it's supplementary, so it allows me to build the chests. Oh, that's trim. Let me put the trim away so I don't confuse myself. Easily done. So, you know, I think it's supplementaries where I can use 8 logs instead of planks, and that will get me 4 chests. It works out the same as far as the resources, but it saves me the step from having to make planks, which is appreciated. I especially like those types of quality of life changes because it doesn't give you an unfair advantage, but it does save you a bit of time, but not like so much time where, like, you know, like hit a button, it cuts down a tree, shaves all the bark off, and creates planks all at, you know, in 2 seconds. That's, you know, what is it, Office Depot or Staples or Office Max? They used to have the commercial about the easy button, right? And that was the idea, right? Oh, I wish there was an easy button. And hit the easy button, and everything just happens. You don't have to put any more effort into it. There are times when I think we need an easy button, but the problem is anything that's worth doing is it brings about a certain level of satisfaction with completion. And if we could do something very, very easily, I think we value it less. We appreciate it less. That certainly has been my experience up to this point. So let me just say here, I can already see that I need a phenomenal number of chests, and in fact, I think I need to actually raise the current. I mean, right now my rows are 2 chests high, and I think we got the space. We can make this 3 or even 4 rows, which means I need even more chests. And there's no way God's green earth, and I'm gonna have that done this episode. So I'm going to use what materials I have left, and then we'll set them up, and I think we'll just have to save the rest of the chests for next time, which is not quite where I wanted to be, but it's close enough that I feel better about this, right? So get 2 more chests out of this. Not chests, drawers. Get 2 more drawers. But I gotta be on top. There we go. So I can see these tops. I don't know if... The problem is I don't want it to be turned. That worked. Oh, yeah, I might as well just put down scaffolding and stand on it. And I think that's about it, right? I mean, I'm going to need more wood. I need a lot more wood. I need a lot more drawers. I think I do want to go a 4th row up So I think that's all she wrote for today. But I think you see where I'm headed with this. I think you can see the value of this approach. And I'm feeling good about it. I made solid progress. More importantly, the system still works. So that was good. It was good. I had a good time. I got a lot done. I hope you appreciated your time with me today. And if you did, please leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. But especially, liking and commenting. Let me know what you think, right? But in the meanwhile, I hope you come back for the next one. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are. And until that time, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and perhaps a touch of good fortune. Cheers.